Hi everyone, my name is Samiha Jain. I gave NDA exam on 14 November 2021, aiming to be part of this historical event of girls rubbing shoulder with cadets at NDA.
The NDA is, where they used to say where they make men out of boys. Now that statement would not hold true anymore, because you're not just going to make men out of boys, you're going to make women out of girls too. And the way you make men out of boys is a little different from the way you make women out of girls.
Hello and welcome to Nation Talks. It's a Metamorphes initiative and I am Preeti Prakash. Metamorphes is a non-profit voluntary group formed by veterans committed to nation building, restoring social values in society, nurturing lost glory of veterans, and thus contributing in whichever ways positively possible to the society. After the Honorable Supreme Court's order allowing women to enter our defense forces through NDA, through UPSC. NDA is National Defense Academy. Women this time took the first opportunity to compete for the exam, which was till now a man's domain. So to talk on the historical entry of women in the National Defense Academy, I have with me former Commandant of OTA, Lieutenant General Sanjeev Kanal, PVSM, AVSM. Welcome, General, to Nation Talks.
Good evening.
Hello. General, how do you see women have got this opportunity? This is the first time that women have been allowed to appear for the prestigious exam of CDS NDA. How do you see the entry of women in NDA in terms of training and opportunity, particularly it being a male bastion till now?
Right. So women have joined the army as officers since 1992, and they used to be trained in the Officers Training Academy in Chennai, which I had the privilege to command for nearly 3 years. Now, because of a Supreme Court ruling, the armed forces have been asked to allow entry of women in the National Defense Academy. So while there was already one channel open for them to join the armed forces, at least the army through the OTA-Chennai, now they have another one. The difference being that when you enter OTA, you come as a short service commissioned officer. But when you come through the National Defense Academy, it will be a permanent commission from the word go, right? So that is one difference as far as their entry is concerned. The other difference is that in the OTA, the training used to be just 11 months. And then they used to get a commission as a short service commissioned officer. Here, the training is going to be 3 years in Khadakwasla and thereafter 1 year in the Indian Military Academy, as far as the Army cadets are concerned, and a year in either the Naval Academy or the Air Force Academy for the Navy and the Air Force candidates. So it's a longer training period, 4 years. That's a really long time, and it's a path-breaking sort of initiative. All respect to the Honorable Supreme Court of our country, they have given this direction. So the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force have to comply. Time will tell how it pans out.
Yeah. So in terms of particularly training, and opportunity in terms of equal opportunities for women, do you see any difference for that matter?
So now, as far as the opportunity is concerned, it is equal because they have been permitted to appear for the entrance exam, and all those who qualify and thereafter make it in the SSB interview, then make it in the merit list, they will join the training just like any other male candidate. Of course, the vacancies are going to be restricted because I can speak for the Army with a lot of confidence. There used to be a cap on the total number of women who can get inducted as officers in a year. That used to be 80. So in OTA, there used to be 40 per batch. So if 80 is what is going to be commissioned every year, then obviously if we are going to come through NDA also, so the numbers in OTA will reduce proportionately. And I'm sure it will be a similar thing for the Naval and the Air Force entries also. So yeah,
And in
so
training part, the rigorous training that
yes, yes.
you
So
NDA people go undergo.
oh yes, oh yes. So I'll just come to that, but before that, I just wanted to say is that the psychological issues which they will face, like you said, it's a male bastion till now, and the proportion of women in the National Defence Academy is going to be very little. And there is also an age difference. Like in OTA, we used to get girls who are already graduates. So they were older. Now here they're going to come right after school. They are just 16, 17-year-old girls. So for them to adjust to a very rigorous sort of training in which they are outnumbered multiple times, by the male cadets. Yeah, it's going to be a tough call for them. As far as the training is concerned, see, the female body is made differently from a male body. The upper body strength is lesser, and they are more prone to pelvic stress fractures. This has been my experience when I was there as the commandant. And many of them suffer from these pelvic stress fractures because of jumping, wearing heavy boots, running on hard surfaces, these kind of doing the obstacle courses and all that. So they will have to be a little careful, because there in Chennai, it used to be 11 months, but here it's going to be over a period of 4 years. So the body is going to be subjected to that kind of a physical strain for a longer duration. So obviously, the injuries could be larger unless the training schedule is so structured that it is a progressive sort of increase in the rigor of training. So, but I'm sure that the people who are there now or who are going to look after the training part would be looking into these things. Yes.
So this was as far as the women are concerned. But as far as National Defence Academy itself is concerned, do you envisage changes in the academy that should be brought and which it does not have till now with women entry?
Oh yes, there's going to be changes, definitely, and change is a constant, like we all know. And so to be able to train women cadets in the National Defence Academy, there has to be firstly an attitudinal change in the faculty as well as in the other trainees. That is very important. So gender sensitization would have to be done. The NDA is, where they used to say where they make men out of boys. Now that statement would not hold true anymore, because you're not just going to make men out of boys, you're going to make women out of girls too. And the way you make men out of boys is a little different from the way you make women out of girls. You have to temper your language, you have to make sure there is no physical contact, you have to take care of all these sensitivities. And for that,
even infrastructure for that matter. Even
infrastructure, for sure, 100% infrastructure, because the girls will have to be housed in a different sort of barrack. They will need different type of bathrooms. They will need they will need protection. So like in OTA-Chennai, there where the girls were housed used to be almost like a fortress. Nobody could get in or out. So they'll have to do something similar in NDA, and not just in NDA. 3 years down the line, they will have to do it in IMA also, because presently IMA is not geared up to handle women, cadets. But now once they pass out of NDA and reach IMA for their final 1 year, IMA would also have to change their or make some new infrastructure or modify the existing one. But yes, infrastructure definitely would have to be modified.
And so you stressing on the mindset and the psychological part of it also, which is very important.
Yes, so mindset, like I said, mindset not just of the faculty, but also of the other cadets. That is very important. There has to be an attitudinal change. They have to be sensitized. The training per se will also have to be, sort of done in a manner that it is a graduated and a progressive physical training, so that there is no injury to them. Like I said, in a short duration of 11 months, it was all right. But now if you're going to subject the female body to that kind of rigor for 4 years, then obviously it has to start very, very mildly and then build up slowly and progressively into the more rigorous physical training.
Yeah, so if we see, about once they pass out and then they have their postings in, warlike situation or at the borders and all. So how do you feel, or what do you have to say in that case? Will these girls be trained well enough to be handling that kind of a situation? War zone, field.
So
posting.
yeah, So now, because of the Supreme Court ruling, while their entry into NDA has been permitted, but the commissioning is not going to change from the way it is today. So they are not going to be inducted into the combat arms. That the combat arms of the army are the infantry, the armored corps, the mechanized infantry, and the artillery. So these four are still taboo for them. So they will keep getting commissioned into the other arms and services. For example, the engineers, the air defense, the signals, and the services like the EME, the ASC, and the Ordnance Corps. They don't actually go get, so those arms and services which I just named don't get into actual combat. Though once war breaks out, everything becomes a combat zone, you know. So the training, if they go through the 4 years in NDA, I don't think there is any need to be worried about whether they are well trained or not. They will be very well trained, and they can take on any kind of a combat situation, because there is no differentiation in the way a male cadet is trained and a female cadet is trained. The only difference is that in the physical test standards, the females have some laxity. For example, if a male cadet has to run 5 kilometers in say 30 minutes, I'm just giving you an example, the female cadet gets about 32 to 33 minutes to do the same test. If a male cadet has to do 6 pull-ups, a female cadet has to do only 1. As a matter of fact, I mentioned the weak upper body strength. So there is a lot of leeway given to them as far as their physical standards are concerned. And so that difference will always remain. That difference will always remain. But other than that, the training per se, their capability to handle a platoon in war remains the same as the male cadets. There's no difference.
Okay. Now, just ending up, I would just like to make a point that women have been otherwise also physically quite tested in other maybe paramilitary forces or the police itself, or even in other countries. Women are, Israel and like other countries too, women are, I think, in the combat role also. I'm sure women, Indian women are also have the grit and the physical strength to, I'm sure, get into any situation of that kind. Am I right?
So I agree with you that you know, when push comes to shove, the women will be standing shoulder to shoulder with the men and giving it back to the enemy, you know, with the full might of their power, 100%. But that decision the government of India has to take, whether the women have to get into the combat arms or not. So presently they are not in the combat arms; they are in the combat support arms. But not to say that the combat support arms will not get into any warlike situation. They, like a person, a lady, a woman officer who's in the engineers or the signals or in the ASC could also end up in a situation where she will have to actually do combat. Even today, those lady officers or women officers who are in the ASC, who are doing convoys in the Kashmir Valley, they are likely to get into a situation, and they are prepared for it. They are trained for it. So yeah, I agree with you. When we talk about gender equality, obviously there should be no differentiation. But like I said, the call has to be taken by the government of India whether to induct them into combat roles or not.
Thank you so much, General Kanal, for talking to us, and it's been a pleasure having you with us.
It's
Thank
been a
you so
pleasure
much.
interacting with you. Thank you for
Thank
calling
you.
me.
Let's know from our panel of women from the armed forces their reaction to this positive development. I have with me Captain Shalini Singh. She's a retired army officer, person of very many profiles that make women proud of. Then I have my another guest is Captain Amrit Kaur. She's been an army officer herself, and she's also done great service to the nation, which we will hear from her later in the show. Welcome to my show, Nation Talks, Captain Shalini and Captain Amrit Kaur.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for inviting me to the show. It's an honor to be part of the Nation Talks.
So, Captain Shalini, if I start with you, this step in the direction of women empowerment and kind of gender equality also is a great step. I'm sure you agree. And what do you feel on this development, you being an army officer yourself?
Good evening, Preeti ma'am. Good evening, Captain Amrit. So this is definitely a very, very positive step, if I would say. But also I would like to say that it's a long, long road for the ladies, for the the girls who have appeared for the exam today, because everything is very unclear, even how the things will roll on, how will they do the training, whether they'll be able to fare it or not. But I have the confidence that like we have done it in the academy, we have fared well and we have proved ourselves. So they will also do the same kind of wonders, or they will even do much better. But definitely it's a very welcome step. We are now sitting in 2021, and still there was such a disparity in defense services and armed forces, that the females were not being given an equal opportunity to work with the male counterparts. So for me, it's a very, very welcome decision, and I'm very glad that this opportunity has been given to females now, and I'm sure this women fraternities, they are going to do wonders. I'm very, very sure.
Captain Amrit Kaur, life in defense in the armed forces is generally said to be very tough, both physically and in other challenges also, if we talk of. How do you see this from a woman's perspective?
Good evening, Preeti ma'am, and good evening, Captain Shalini. Ma'am, to your question, I feel that when we speak of difficulties, when we speak of toughness, or when we speak about the situation of a woman officer in the army being tough, to me it is a state of mind, ma'am. I have never taken it as should I say, as it is, at the words of these words like difficulty, tough training, and difficulty while serving. All these things to me have always been a state of mind, ma'am, because my very short service I had of 5 years. In those 5 years, I have experienced none of these, in real sense, should I say, because when you're out there with your counterparts, and when you're working with them shoulder to shoulder, and trying to understand the work and performing it the way it has to be done, it doesn't really seem to be a thing which needs to be done. It just happens, ma'am. This is what I have experienced in my 5 years. And the 5 years of this training has given me an opportunity to rather roll on further in my civil life, in my other profession that I had picked up. And even today, it has only made me more and more tougher, because as they say, army is a way of life. It makes you mentally so tough that the endurance level aapki itni बढ़ जाती है that you somehow are able to manage your day-to-day life in a much better way. So to me, these words, somehow I don't really look at them as an obstacle. I look at them as an opportunity which kind of converts you into a much better human being. I mean, to me as a person, definitely it has been the fact.
Okay, if you can tell our audience a little more about you. I mean, you've been there in the army, and I mean, I'm sure playing at the level field with men only. And you just said that there are actually no difficulties as such. It's just a mental state.
Yes.
But people outside the army or your fraternity do view it from another perspective. So so that toughness, they do feel that yes, women will now there is a question in people's mind: will women be able to undergo that tough training, that tough life that is now ahead to them? So what are your experiences, if you can tell me some incident if you remember?
Ma'am, I'm a second generation officer. My father was in the army, and my elder sister paved the way for us in our house. She was first, girl in our family, entire clan, to have ever stepped into, the shoes of an army officer. So for me, I had a lot of motivation back at home. So my parents have always been very supportive, and they have always, stood by my decisions or my choices in life. So that was somehow it came very naturally to me that I wanted to be in the uniform. So I had joined NCC when I was in my first year of my college. I had decided to join NCC, and I became a mountaineer. I did my mountaineering training from the Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. I'm an advanced mountaineer trained officer. And recently I have been to Siachen. At the age of 40, I became a part of the civilian trek to the first ever civilian trek to Siachen. So I was amongst those 7 of them. So Honestly, like what you're asking, as in to give an example, when I joined the army, I was the only lady amongst the entire clan of men. So I had around 800 men in our unit. And when I stepped in as an, a lieutenant, and I went into my unit, I only had men around me. But somehow it really did not affect me much, because the kind of training that you're given in the training academies, the way, and OTA is such a beautiful the training academy, because you have both male and female, cadets training together. And now we are going to have NDA as the second, but a very important organization, where we are going to see men and women train together and come out. So when the training and your understanding of army starts at that level, when you have both men and women already together training together, so I think it gets little easier for you. And of course, we had joined at the time of Operation Parakram. So I did not join my unit in the kind of in the unit particularly. I directly was sent to Rajasthan, where the unit was already plonked. So it all began in Rajasthan. So the tent life, and then getting into that the role of an officer, and then running in the morning along with your men, in the evening taking their games parade, and doing your job, whatever was given to you. And being a piddly lieutenant in the initial days, ma'am, of course, you were not given any straightaway responsibility of a nature which is big enough. So you are supposed to first understand the entire unit functioning, and get to know your men. So I actually became one of them. I was running with them. I was, having food with them in their mess. I was talking to them, trying to understand their life. So somehow it became a way of life. So we always hear army is a way of life, like I just mentioned. This transformation gradually happens in you. It becomes a part of your life. So any challenge, anything that is coming your way, you are able to, somehow just go over it with not much of a difficulty, because and then of course, to say the men, the gentlemen officers, the JCO Saabs, and all the other ranks, each one of them was so supportive. None of them ever made me feel that I was the only lady amongst them, and that pata nahi ye madam aayi hain, kya ye kar payengi, that off late a lot of discussion has taken place on this particular aspect. I really want to clarify this, that trust me, ma'am, there is must be one odd case here or there, but our army men are they're very welcoming, and they ensure that you become a part of them. They train you, they also give you the kind of understanding of the unit, how it functions, etc. So bahut sare incidents hai, ma'am, but this is all I can say about it. But it is a way of life. You learn to live that life gradually and slowly as you move each day ahead.
Picture, and I'm sure the all the girls and women that are appearing for NDA, have appeared for NDA, will surely take a cue from this. Captain Shalini, do you have any experience of your organization where you feel that yes, women are at par in the academy also?
Taking it further from where Captain Amrit left, I completely support her views, what she's saying, that once we enter the academy, like once we went to academy, when our training started, a lot of times we were reminded that now you are just cadets. Though we are called lady cadets, gentlemen cadets, but most of the time the kind of training we are put into, the kind of things we are made to do. So first we have to forget that we are ladies. We are generally girls, ladies. They are put into a very delicate kind of a thing. You see as a girl, if you see a girl, you will first think, okay, soft, delicate, but once you step into academy, all those things you have left out of academy. So you don't get that kind of a girly treatment, or you are trying to show that okay, you are very soft, or you can't do this or can't do that. So right from the beginning, when we step into academy, we are first made to uh, get out of that mindset. Now secondly, once we join our respective units after commissioning, definitely I will have 100% agree with Captain Amrit that I was also never made to feel that I am something different. I was also only lady officer among in the entire unit. There were no other female officer. There was no other female also. And I went to Badmer. Parakram was on, and we stayed in tents. So, but not for a moment I was feeling unwelcomed or made to feel that I can't do this. In fact, the officers was very supportive, where I was feeling the challenge of understanding new things, learning new things, and the kind of background condition I came after losing my husband. I joined army, and then I never felt like that I have to really place myself as a woman. But what is important is that I learn the work, I understand the work, and what I am delivering in my work is more important. So my work will speak for us, and what I'm doing in my day-to-day job is more important than making others feel that, okay, this is a woman officer doing. No, this is an officer who is doing her work. So that is very important. And definitely there are cases where we have heard that women have not been treated well in their unit, or they have not been given the due respect just because they're a woman. So one odd case is or everywhere, but I will not say that army should be treated in isolation. I have we have worked in corporate also. We see such cases there also. So women as a whole, and I will say it's not just an issue with the armed forces, it's a global issue that women are striving and trying hard to get on the equal footing as of male counterparts. And it's a complete equality issue in the entire globe. So we all have to come forward and look with a very broad picture. And definitely in armed forces, during my tenure, I never faced any such issue where I can say that, okay, this incident happened with me where I was made to feel that, okay, you're a woman officer.
Okay, now, NDA is generally said to be, the boys' club. So now what, in your thinking, what changes do you think are needed in that kind of a place, which is an academy, which is totally dominated by, there are men around everywhere. And so not just in the academy, but even in the mindset of men. You think there are some changes needed out there as women enter the portals of the National Defense Academy?
My views on this are very clear that it is a matter of national security. So we should not negotiate or bargain on those terms. Okay, well, now women are going to join NDA, and now so the training parameters have to be changed, or anything related to training structure uh, has to be manipulated because girls are now there. On the contrary, I say just keep it the way it is. Let the girls do it. If they are not able to do it, they can go back home. And only, even if in the entire batch one female cadet is able to clear the exam, do the training, let her take the commission. Because we definitely are talking of National Defense Academy, which is the most important of the academy, and also dealing in national security, which I have been hearing with lot of male officers that, okay, it is a matter of national security, and I completely agree. But yeah, few infrastructural changes are required because they are going to stay there, and we as a country, we are not open that way that we are going to share the same accommodation or same washrooms. So definitely that kind of structure, because NDA has never accommodated cadets as females as cadets. So definitely that kind of infrastructure has to be required for them, and some changes are required, definitely required. And I'm sure army is going to the academy, they are going to do a good thing. They will study how the entire thing has to be done. But there should not be any change, any kind of training standards. That I always say, we have done the training, and while we were doing the training, there were difference in our training, the kind of training the gentlemen cadets were doing, the kind of training we were doing, there was some difference in training parameters. And we never asked to change the parameter. Once we are coming to the academy, we are told these are your parameters. You will be trained in there, and you have to clear all these parameters. And we are doing that. If you set even a higher parameter, we will do that also. So if you will dilute the training parameters for ladies, then tomorrow you are going to say we diluted the parameters for them. So it is not required. None of the ladies are asking to dilute the parameters. And we have very strong females out of army also who are very, very strong. If I talk of Mary Com, so I think she is one such example. Physically and mentally, she is so strong. So I think even our lady cadets who will be in the academy, they are going to take it whatever they are being given. So definitely that's my take on this.
Okay, so lastly, Captain Amrit Kaur, what is your message to the first batch of women who have attempted the NDA and are now going to enter the academy?
Ma'am, the National Defense Academy exam is not that easy to crack. We all know that. It's a very difficult exam, and those who will make it through the first stage definitely, would be worth a try. I would say that they should, once they move ahead to the next stage of SSB, they're going to be tested on a lot of parameters. There are going to be lots and lots of tests that they have to cross. So the first thing is that the ladies who will finally make it through the doors of NDA would be the ones who would be found fit at the first stage of SSB. So that is a very, very important interview when it comes to, officers joining the Indian Armed Forces, especially NDA being a premier tri-service organization. It's one of the most renowned in Asia and of course worldwide. I think they are not going to be doing any kind of compromise on the quality. So the lady officers, the girls, I should say, the cadets who are going to be selected now and going to the first ever course of women in NDA, I'm sure they would be mentally very much prepared for whatever is going to come, because they are all aware of the kind of training that goes into being an NDA cadet. They are aware of the kind of, tough 3 years that they're going to have, ahead of them. So they would be ready for it, I'm very sure. And then further on when they are there, I'm sure we have such amazing training staff, and the kind of training that is given in NDA is going to prepare them, and they are definitely going to, make it to the ranks, the following, being an officer, they'll go to IMA after that. So as far as my message to them goes is that prepare hard, train well, and, be a part, have that spirit. I mean, do not give up in between. It's going to be very difficult. It won't be as easy, but do not give up at any account is what my message to them.
And even more importantly, to feel proud of yourself that you are there in that place, to be serving the nation and fighting for the nation, for your motherland.
It's a pride, ma'am. It's a pride. The feeling cannot be explained. Yeah.
And as it is always said, that people in the forces are the bravest of the brave. So these women also will be part of the bravest of the brave not just the country, but I think the entire world. So women are said, I would like to wrap it up by saying that women are said to be better multitaskers. So whether it be a desk job or a field job, or whether it is intellectual prowess or physically demanding tasks, women have proved their grit everywhere. And this is a step forward towards gender equality and women empowerment in our country, which women have been seeking for a very, very long time. Thank you for being with me, Captain Shalini and Captain Amrit Kaur. It was pure pleasure to have you on our panel. For my viewers, don't forget sharing, liking and subscribing our channel and pressing the bell icon for more such events. Comment on our videos and whatever subject you want to discuss. Thank you for being there. Stay safe and stay happy. Thank you once again, everyone.
Hello, my name is Disha Garal. I appeared for the NDA exam on 14 November 2021. I'm super excited and ready to don the green uniform. Thank you.
My name is Surbi. I appeared for NDA exam on 14 November 2021. Looking forward to join NDA, aiming to be part of this historical event of girls rubbing shoulders with cadet at NDA.